You ever have a bad day at work? Have you ever worked in retail? Now, I know that's a silly question to ask, but I don't know if a lot of people have. Me, that's what I do. I work at Home Depot, and just recently I got promoted to a different job. But before that, I worked at the customer service desk. So I dealt with a lot of stuff. And let me tell you, some customers are nice, some are not so nice, especially when they're trying to return something. I had a case where this lady swore up and down she bought something from Home Depot. What I was trying to explain to her very nicely and very calmly is if it says it's not on file, that means it's not in our system. Anyways, long story short, she swore up and down, no, we bought this here. My husband even said we bought it here, and he went back to go grab another one. So I went out, so after that, I was like, I need a break. So I took my break. When I came back, my coworker had said that they left, and they realized they got it at Lowe's, so all that was, for nothing, right? So what do I do to relieve aggression? Well, that's a good question. So what I like to do to relieve all my aggression that just builds up, because like I said, you work in retail, you have a lot more bad days than good. It's just the way it goes. So what do? I like to play a lot of violent video games. One of them is Red Dead Revolver. I'm sure you guys have heard of that. It's a bang bang shoot 'em up one. There's WWE 2K19, which I play. What's another one? Anthem, Destiny 2, and there's more that I just can't think of right now. But I have played. Oh, excuse me. Sometimes violent video games helps relieve out aggression, but it doesn't cause me to act out aggressively. And I've played violent video games my whole life, and I've never committed any act of a violent crime whatsoever. It hasn't made me want to go out and shoot somebody or hurt somebody aggressively. And my son likes to play games too. So I gave him my old PS3 and a little TV in his room, and he plays Minecraft, and he likes to blow stuff up on that. Oh, sorry. And he hasn't wanted to do any kind of violent crime just for playing that. Punching somebody on a video game helps me relieve aggression without any legal consequences. So that's good, right? Because if you do that in real life, like at a boss you don't like or a customer, well, you're probably going to go to jail, and then there's fines probably on top of that. So just skip all that. Play a violent video game, man. It's fun. And it releases out aggression, and you can get out aggression on a video game. It has no long-term effect. Oh, there's no legal consequences because you're not actually hurting somebody. So games have all these graphics in them. And so there you go. There's no legal consequences. Research has shown that there is no long-term effect on people who play violent video games. So several risk factors include a person becoming violent not just from playing video games, but some of those risk factors are socioeconomic status, abuse, lack of education. It would take playing violent video games 24/7 as well as a combination of other risk factors to have a solid argument that video games do cause violent behavior. According to Maggie Cutler, author of Who Done It the Media, real life experiences shapes a kid's mind more than any type of media. Like growing up as a kid, we didn't, I don't think I had a PlayStation for like a long time. So before all that, I would go out with my friends. We'd use our imagination. It was a long time before we even had computers. Kids today, because technology has advanced so far, they have all these things I didn't have. But that's how they keep your kid's mind. There is a couple of things that my kids do online. I was trying to remember those names of those games that they play, but one's like a math game that they can play, and it helps them at school. I can't really think of the name off the top of my head, but Richard P. Felton did a longitudinal study that showed that children with favorable attitudes towards violence may be more likely to engage in violence, and also more likely to find violence entertaining to watch. So let me expand on that. So they might have grown up seeing somebody like being abused or hurt, and then watching somebody else laugh at that. So then they want to laugh at that because they think that's funny, but it's not really funny. Um, Gabriano, a psychologist, states that media violence may be a factor in a child's life, but it's accumulation of all these factors that really alter the way a person thinks and feels. Just a minute. Oh, I lost one. So let me go back to, so violent video games, they are fun to play. I have probably, like I said before, I played these my whole life. I haven't wanted to go commit an act, of any violent crime or anything like that. I would just, let's see, what else can I say? Oh, yeah. So back to video games. I don't know if any of you remember like Mortal Kombat. That was another violent one that I played growing up. Trying to think of another one that people might have considered violent anyway. Oh, Street Fighter. But another thing is on these games there's graphics. Like they have graphics to make it look like blood, but it's not real blood. So there you go. Wrapping it up, I would just encourage you to go out there and play a violent video game. Get out your aggression. And if you don't like video games, there's other ways to get out your aggression. Go to the gym, do a punching bag, but do something that won't cause you to act aggressively towards somebody else. Just go get out your aggression any way you can.